This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. New polling indicates Tasmanians are split on which party should be leading the state in the closest poll since 2010. Fresh figures show the upcoming election will be a tight race to the finish for the two major parties, as the government is today accused of dishing up pre-election bribes.
The minister's describing it as a pre-Christmas energy bonus. Today, the pensioner payout is being labelled a bribe.
The initiative we're very proud of. It's supporting pensioners.
It's a bribe. The Energy Minister under the pump during government business scrutiny hearings, a $125 cheque for Tasmanian pensioners to help with their energy payments, stirring the committee.
What advice Aurora Energy provided on the most efficient and cost-effective way to make this payment?
As I've outlined, I've already answered that question.
Talking about the administration of public funds. My question to you, Minister, is whose signature will be on the letter?
Tasmanian government letters, on Tasmanian government letterhead.
If it's anyone's signature, new polling suggests it should be the Premier's. New figures show support for Will Hodgman is down 2 points since August to 35%. Support for Labor leader Rebecca White steady at 48%. While support for the two major parties are neck and neck. The Liberal Party support down 3 points. No change to Labor, levelling both major parties at 34%.
So we're here today calling for pokies to be taken out of pubs and clubs.
National activist group Get Up making its first state election push.
Get Up's already got about 10,000 people who have decided to take action on this issue in Tasmania and across the country.
Typically seen as a left-wing group, Get Up is yet to outline the prominence of its Tasmanian election campaign. Last year seen as one of the drivers contributing to the ousting of the Liberals' Three Amigos.
Our strategy remains the same, that we will always target far-right politicians.
Claiming to keep the pressure on poker machines in the election lead-up, Get Up wouldn't say if it's willing to take Labor to town on its policy when it's released in coming weeks.
Look, I mean, what does Get Up really stand for? I mean, they don't stand up for jobs, they don't stand up for Tasmania, so, I would be encouraging people not to take a lot of notice of them, to be honest.
Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
If Braddon MP Justine Kay is referred to the High Court and found to be ineligible for federal parliament, it could force North West Coasters back to the ballot box. Ms Kay's media team wouldn't say whether she would recontest a by-election if there was one, saying that's a hypothetical question. Former Liberals MHR Brett Whiteley says he won't rule in or out whether he would run for Braddon again. Former Tasmanian Senator Jackie Lambie has also previously said she won't rule out running in the lower house. Tasmania's anti-corruption watchdog is calling for an improvement to misconduct management within the state's public sector. A 2-year investigation highlighting inconsistencies and deficiencies in handling complaints. Among the recommendations is to allow disciplinary action for offending employees who have resigned from the service.
Head of the agency, we're talking about state service agencies in this respect, to be able to conduct an investigation into the circumstances surrounding a misconduct allegation.
The state government is considering the recommendations, while Labor is vowing to see all 3 implemented. A Launceston Supreme Court jury has begun its deliberations into the murder trial of Tasmanian man Kerry Alexander Bilston. Mr Bilston stands accused of shooting dead his Lotta neighbour Dean Peter Manshandon on October 15 last year after ongoing arguments about land boundaries. Our reporter Jessie Gilmore has more.
After an almost 2-week-long trial, the jury today heard the closing addresses of both defence and prosecution before beginning its deliberations late this afternoon. Defence this morning asking the jury not to make its decision based on sympathy for the victims' loved ones as they sat visibly upset in the courtroom. Defence also stating the 66-year-old Lotta man might be considered an oddball and even at times silly and immature, but he maintained Mr Bilston never intended to shoot dead his neighbour, saying if he did, he would have taken his .243 rifle with a scope and not a shotgun loaded with a solid slug. Defence closed its case saying the death of Mr Manshandon was
was not murder but a tragic accident.
Crown Prosecutor Darryl Coates strongly disagreed, saying the shotgun used by Kerry Bilston was one he knew well, and that even at a range of 30 metres, shooting in the direction of Mr Manshandon was likely to result in either serious injury or death.
The prosecution also telling the jury even if the accused was aiming in the direction of Mr Manshandon but not intending to hit him, he's guilty of murder based on the fact that he ought to have known that discharging a firearm so close to Mr Manshandon's head as he did, there's a good chance it would have caused death.
The jury has finished its deliberations for the day but will be back here first thing tomorrow morning.
A 25-year-old man has been charged with wounding over an incident at Bridgewater late yesterday. Police allege he used a knife to stab a 29-year-old man in the neck. The alleged victim was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the wounded man and the accused are known to each other. A 52-year-old Norwood man is tonight in a serious but stable condition in the Royal Hobart Hospital following a single vehicle crash on Hobart Road near Braddon around 9 o'clock this morning. The man was the only person in the car. Police say it veered off the road, striking a tree, saying the vehicle was travelling at over 100 kilometres per hour.
The trees pushed straight into the front of the vehicle, so it made it difficult for him to get out. Jaws of life had to be used to take the side of the vehicle out just to make it easier to get him out of the vehicle.
Anyone who witnessed the vehicle travelling on Hobart Road in the direction of Launceston prior to the crash is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Tasmanian Alkaloids has secured a landmark licence to manufacture products containing cannabis. It comes after the Westbury-based company was granted both medical cannabis cultivation and research licences earlier this year. The move makes the poppy grower one of a few Australian-based companies allowed to cultivate, manufacture and supply cannabinoid medicines to health professionals. Tasmanian drivers are the worst in the country when it comes to hitting objects like trees, bollards and shopping trolleys, according to the latest figures from insurer AAMI. Driver distraction is being blamed as the main reason for crashes on our roads.
This smash on Launceston's southern outlet in February is at the more extreme end of the scale, but it's among thousands of crashes we have each year with stationary objects like road signs.
Drivers need to be so careful when they hop behind the wheel. They need to concentrate on what's in front of them, what's around them.
The latest figures from AAMI reveal collisions with solid objects make up nearly a third of all accidents in the state. Crashes at give-way intersections and rear-end smashes are the second and third most common, while 1 in 10 claims are from hitting an animal.
We really want to encourage drivers to adopt safe driving behaviours, as many of these accident types can be avoided.
The insurer received more than 8,000 accident claims in Tasmania last year.
AAMI says time and time again Tasmanians crash because they're distracted texting or checking social media. Another common culprit is tailgating.
When it comes to other drivers, what do you hate seeing on the roads?
Just, not paying attention. They sometimes are on the phone, like sometimes they're too close to the white line.
People that pull into service stations or shopping centre car parks and leave the back end of their car out on the road while they're looking for the next parking spot and you've got a truck behind you or something like that, they really annoy me.
People pulling out of driveways and stuff and flying around car parks.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
A special shipment is being loaded in Tasmania ahead of its journey to Timor-Leste. Students have packed a container with toys and medical equipment to help our northern neighbour.
The final touches in a big day of packing for a charity shipment. Fun students checking the inventory, completing the paperwork and doing the heavy lifting, filling up a container with boxes of toys, the destination, Timor-Leste.
So we're just basically packaging up all the boxes, making sure everything is in the boxes, it's correct, ticked off, all the numbers are done, everything's sort of all done, putting them in the shipping container and then sending them off.
Lots of toys, lots of soft toys, knitted toys, some games, boxed
games type things that are easy to pack and easy to travel and easy to distribute.
Hundreds of toys were collected at St John ambulance centres and through Rotary.
Well, the object was to fill a shipping container, and I must confess I was concerned that is a lot of boxes. We've certainly got over 100 here from what I would estimate, likely more, and we'll go a long way to filling that shipping container.
Farn School fundraising helped meet the cost of shipping, students getting involved with a cause close to their heart.
Because I've been to the island, I've heard so many stories from a lot of children, and I've helped teach English over there. It's so exciting to know that these toys and the resources are going to people who so deserve it. They're one of the best, they're just the best people ever.
Also included in the shipment, medical supplies to help local hospitals.
Look, I think it's very important. It's a young country, a close neighbour of Australia's, and a country that we will have many ongoing years of dealings with.
Loaded and ready to go, the container is expected to arrive in Timor-Leste in January. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
A severe weather warning has been issued for the Furneaux Islands, along with the state's east and northeast coasts. The Weather Bureau is predicting rainfall of up to 90 millimetres in some areas, along with flash flooding. Property owners are encouraged to move livestock and equipment to higher ground if safe to do so. Tasmanian pubs and clubs are getting on board a campaign to help stamp out sexual abuse and harassment. The Sexual Assault Support Service is rolling out posters at venues delivering key messages about consent.
It was really clear that women, when they were going out of a night to enjoy a few drinks with friends, expected to have sexual harassment, sexual abuse.
Whether it's Salamanca here or it's in the north or the northwest of the state, we've got to play our role. And hospitality venues generally work really well with the police anyway on a raft of issues. I think this is just another one that we need to basically educate people to say enough's enough.
Victims are encouraged to contact security, management or police in the event of sexual harassment in venues. The attendance of former Governor-General Quentin Bryce has helped sell out a charity event. Dame Quentin says she chose to host the Clifford Craig Foundation's Christmas luncheon after learning about their extensive fundraising for medical research.
It's all underpinned by a great generosity of spirit, leadership, teamwork, bringing people together.
This event, normally closer to Christmas, is one of those events where we don't sell out, but because of the presence of a former Governor-General, the sales were fantastic.
The event highlighting Dame Quentin's new book featuring letters she wrote and received during her time as Governor-General. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed lower due to significant falls by healthcare and energy stocks and weakness in the materials and industrial sectors. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 26.1 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.77 US cents and 63.98 euro cents.
The Tasmanian Tigers have claimed their second Sheffield Shield win in as many games with an impressive 10-wicket demolition of New South Wales. In an action-packed day at Blunston, the Tigers were forced to head back into bat this afternoon, needing just a single run for victory. Jackson Bird named man of the match after taking 7 wickets.
With the Tigers enforcing the follow-on, New South Wales began day 3 already 2 wickets down and in serious trouble. Curtis Patterson tried to steer the ship back on course, but it didn't take long for Jackson Bird to warm up. He soon had his second for the day with Ed Cowan gone for a duck. Sam Rainbird bringing Patterson's short run to an end, and with the Blues on 5 for 72, a Tigers victory looked imminent. But Peter Neville proved frustrating, clinging on for dear life as the rest of the order crumbled around him. Tom Rogers accounting for Steve O'Keefe and then Trent Copeland just a few overs later. Rainbird ensuring Sean Abbott didn't even get off the mark, but Neville continued to be the thorn in the side, racing past 50 and prolonging the inevitable. His day finally brought to a halt on 70 when Jordan Silk took a screamer.
Silk gets the wicket. That's the breakthrough the Tigers are after.
Harry Conway the last to fall, but not before the Blues managed to equal the Tigers' total, forcing the home side back into bat and needing just 1 run. Following his first innings century, Jordan Silk fittingly sealed the match, Tasmania claiming their second victory on the trot with a 10-wicket win.
And that ends that here at Blundstone Arena.
Meantime, Hobart Hurricanes import Kane Mills says he's ready to rip through batting orders for his new club. The English quick hasn't played since August, but insists he's still capable of sending them down the pitch at 150 kilometres an hour.
This is the kind of pace that Canes fans can expect to see from their new import, and Mills says he can't wait to get the new ball in hand.
We'll look to be coming in hard, but you've obviously got to be smart as well. There's no point in bowling 145, 150 clicks if you're going around the park. So I like to mix it up.
The former English international hasn't played competitive cricket for 4 months due to a hamstring injury, but says preparation for the upcoming BBL season couldn't be going any better. He'll find out next week just where he's at in terms of match fitness when the Canes head off for a series of pre-season matches in Victoria.
Just get these few friendlies out of the way and get into the rhythm of it. I don't think I've lost any pace. I hope not anyway. But yeah, I always look to bowl fast with the new ball.
Mills has signed a 2-year deal with Hobart and is under no illusions what his new club are expecting from him.
They identified that kind of power play and death bowling was something that the Hurricanes needed to improve, and that's why they've obviously signed myself.
Meantime, the Hobart Chargers have secured former player Clara Wisher for next year's Seabull season.
Clara is a former championship player here with the Lady Chargers and has spent the last 2 years playing in the SPL competition in Western Australia after a stint with Perth in the WNBL.
Davey says import Michaela Roof is unlikely to return now that Wisher has been signed, but the club is still actively in talks with guard Alex Chiabatoni.
Young female Tasmanian footballers will soon have a clearer pathway to the AFLW thanks to a new initiative by AFL Tasmania. As of next year, the TSLW will introduce an under-18 development series consisting of a 6-week round-robin competition with the state's best young talent. Up to 30 players that participate in the series will be selected into the State Youth Girls Academy. Squads for the 6 competing teams will be announced in the coming days. Well, as expected, the Scott Brunton-trained gelding Helliver Street will start heavy favourite for tonight's $100,000 1,400-metre conquering stakes in Launceston, with the star sprinter coming off a string of impressive results, including a recent Group 3 win on Oaks Day.
He's doing a lot of travelling, the little fella, but I tell you, he's coping with it brilliantly. I used to think Mick Beals was mad with what he was doing with the cleaner, and I found myself doing the same, and it seems to be working.
And after a late scratching to Duraza due to a minor leg injury, Bill Ryan-trained filly at Patina Arena is set to jump favourite in tonight's $50,000 3-year-old Cup.
She's beautiful to ride. She's got gears. She'll just settle wherever you want her to, and when you ask her to run, she just picks up the bridle and goes for it.
The first of 8 races begins at the Mowbray Racecourse a short time ago, with the 3-year-old Cup jumping at 8:30, followed by the Conquering Stakes at 9:10.
Good evening. Hobart 18 today, Launceston and Devonport 21, while Burnie scrambled to 20 degrees. The top 22 at Smithton. Above average temperatures over the northwest today. The heavy rain expected is running slightly late. The best rainfall today, just 3 mils on Mount St John on the east coast. Low Head and Strawn 21 degrees, Wynyard Grove, Bushy Park and King Island 20, Flinders Island and St Helens 16, Friendly Beaches and Lyreweenie 15. A surface trough extends from the Coral Sea down the eastern seaboard with embedded thunderstorms. Now that cloud sweeps back over the eastern states as well. Cloud with a low pressure zone continues over WA, some patchy high cloud over eastern South Australia and western Victoria. The eastern half of Tasmania, with most of the cover today, scattered cloud over most of the rest of the state. Tomorrow the low moves away to our southeast with a front approaching the west coast. A high builds over the Bight. West to northwesterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, tending southwesterly at 25 to 30 knots over the east, winds at 10 to 15 knots inland. Strong wind warning from Flinders Island to southeast Cape, also a minor flood warning for the southeast river, a flood watch for the eastern river systems as well. Forecast, rain for Hobart 21, rain for Cygnet 21, 22 for New Norfolk with showers increasing. Launceston, a shower or two developing, 24 the high, 21 for Devonport, showers for Campbelltown as well on 23. Burnie, a possible shower, 21, showery for Strawn, 19 the maximum and 21 for Smithton. St Helens, Rain and 22. 22 also for Fingal, Swansea rainy and 21. UV very high over St Helens and extreme elsewhere. On Friday, showers easing during the afternoon before contracting to the west. A shower on Saturday over the west and south, possible showers elsewhere. Partly cloudy over the south and northwest on Sunday, but sunny for the north and east. Sunny and 30 in Perth tomorrow. Showers for Adelaide, rain developing over Melbourne. A possible late shower for Canberra and 27 degrees. Fine and mostly sunny for the other centres. Currently cloudy, 15 in Hobart, 19 in Launceston, cloudy as well in Devonport and 18 degrees. So Tommy Cooper doesn't like the Christmas ties. Joe, he ought to get into the spirit of the season, I think.
Look, I'm with you, Murph. I think he should too. I love the candy canes tonight. Thank you very much. Well, that's all from the news team for now. Have a great evening. Good night.